everybody. We're going to continue talking about graphic design, and today I want to talk about images in graphic design, okay? Two components to graphic design, images and text, that make those things make up graphic design. But let's talk about the images. So let's look at this piece of art, okay? We've got this on one end of the spectrum. We've got abstract art, okay? Abstract art, not exactly meant to tell exactly what's going on, right? It's supposed to kind of give you more of a feel for things. It's supposed to give you impressions, but not communicate too clearly, right? Okay, so check out this piece here. It's called Yellow Curtain, but I would not know what it was unless it told me, and then I can kind of get a little maybe hint of what's going on, okay? Now let's look at this piece. I mean, I see tubes, I see things going in different directions, I see an arrow, but I didn't see railroad crossing, which is what it is. And, you know, the title helps me figure it out, but it's abstract. It's giving you the feeling of a railroad crossing, maybe all the congestion and the confusion maybe, right? Okay, another piece of modern art that's abstract. So this is the epitome of kind of modernism, and where abstraction was taken to its full end. And this is called composition number 10. So not even giving us a hint of what it's about. Okay, so that's one end of the spectrum. So on the other end of the spectrum, we've got realism. So let's look at this here. Very beautiful, highly rendered picture. It tells us exactly what's going on. It's meant to look like we see things from our eyes. You can see a sunset, you can see the landscape, you can see all sorts of beautiful things. And let's look at another one. So again, lighting is kind of rendered realistically. The person looks like a real person. We can tell what the objects are, painted, with a lot of detail. So we've got realism on one end. We've got abstract on the other end. And where's graphic design in that spectrum? So I think it lives somewhere in the middle. And here's why. Graphic design needs to communicate clearly, yet quickly. So it's got elements from both sides. We want to be able to tell what things are, but we don't want to kind of bog down our images with a lot of detail. We want them to read very quickly, like an icon. Read quickly, clearly, you can tell what it is by looking at it. So graphic design fits somewhere in the middle of that spectrum. So let's look at some abstract art here again. Now, why would graphic design not want to be too abstract? In another video, I talked about how graphic design needs to communicate a message, and that's what separates it from other art forms. So if you're too abstract like this, you're not going to be able to communicate effectively. So now a harder question is why graphic design wouldn't want to be realistic or hyper-realistic. The reason why is because graphic design needs to communicate quickly. A lot of times we just don't have the attention span or give this kind of art form enough time to delve into something that's super realistic. Like, to get into this painting, I've got to kind of look at it, I've got to figure out what this person's doing and see that he's fishing, and then I notice the people in the background, and one's looking back. Is he holding a rope? I can't quite tell. Look at the day, it looks gloomy. It takes a little while to absorb all that information, and you just don't have that time when you're looking at a billboard, an ad, a magazine cover, browsing through books, even looking through websites. Generally, you want to get in and get out, and they want to make sure they communicate within that short span of time. So let's look at some graphic art. Okay, so this is art. I wouldn't say it's graphic design, but it's done in a graphic style. It's very clear as to what it is. It's a zebra, but it's not a realistic zebra. It's kind of simplified, and it's simplified in a cool way that we've got this negative space, black, kind of making up part of the zebra that we can't see. Done in a graphic style, but not graphic design. Okay, here's another piece. Check this out. We've got a pipe, we've got smoke coming out, we've got it making a woman's face. We can tell what it is, yet it's still abstracted to a degree, right? So graphic art style, but not really graphic design. Okay, so let's look at some graphic design and some logos now. So this Ralph Lauren logo, very complex image in the middle of a person on a horse playing polo, a lot of detail in it, a lot of skinny lines, which you normally don't see in a lot of logos. But even this, with all its complexity, is still very simple, and it's almost a silhouette except for some lines that are kind of going here and there. All right, here's another logo. a lot more abstract. You can tell it's a puma, right? But it's abstracted a bit. It's kind of simplified. We only see one set of legs on one side, and it's kind of boiled down to its essence and kind of made in these nice, beautiful curves. Okay, let's look at this Ferrari logo. So, Ferrari logo, another very complicated design, and you got a lot of detail in that horse. A lot of little details in it, but you can see kind of like the Ralph Lauren logo, it's almost a silhouette except for some lines in there. So still simplified, even as complex as it is. Okay, so check out this logo. Now, this is super abstract. You can almost not tell what it is except for the name. I mean, you probably could tell, but the name helps a bit. And this is about as far as you could probably take in a dove and abstract it and still know what it is. You know, a little further and maybe we wouldn't be able to tell. But it's a great logo. It's a great design. Okay, so a lot of graphic design. You can tell what they are, yet they are abstracted and simplified in certain ways. Helps us read them quicker. Helps us tell what they are. Helps us remember them, right? They become a little more memorable for us. And that's the kind of images we have in graphic design. Not super abstract, not super realistic, but a lot of times somewhere in the middle. All right, hope you guys got something out of this lesson about images in graphic design today, and I'll see you in the next video.